Today we look at information warfare. More precisely, why the uninformed are destined to lose. This channel will cover information warfare across several episodes. The first case is one of the most dramatic reversals in Chinese history, the Battle of Guandu. An army of 100,000 under Yuan Shao collapsed against 20,000 under Cao Cao. The gap in strength was fivefold. And still, the stronger side lost. Are you stronger than your rival? Then why do you keep losing? Look through military history, and the answer is always the same. It is not the strong who win. It is the informed who win. Countless battles were lost by the side with double the troops, and won by the side with half. The difference was never the length of the spear. It was the reach of information. People treat gathering information as a chore, something to rush through before the real work of deciding begins. This mistake comes from confidence. The more experience a person gains, the less they check and the more they simply judge. They believe what worked before will work again. From that moment, information starts to feel unnecessary. And from that moment, defeat is already written. The reason people avoid uncomfortable information is simple. They do not want to shake a decision they have already made. Yuan Shao had already decided to underestimate Cao Cao. Any report that contradicted that decision, he did not want to hear. He kept advisors close who agreed with him and pushed away those who challenged him. This is not a flaw unique to Yuan Shao. The stronger a person's conviction, the stronger their instinct to filter out anything that contradicts it. A lack of information is rarely ignorance. Most of the time it is a choice. Just before the Battle of Guandu, Yuan Shao's camp looked flawless from the outside. His troops outnumbered Cao Cao 5-1. His grain supplies were abundant. His staff of advisors was impressive. Cao Cao was short on soldiers and running low on food. By the numbers alone, the war was already decided. But inside Yuan Shao's camp, there was a crack. His advisor Sun Tzu proposed a strategy, and Yuan Shao refused to listen. Worse, around that same time, a family member of Sun Tzu was imprisoned over an unrelated offense. Sun Tzu felt abandoned. That night, Sun Tzu crossed over to Cao Cao's side, and he brought one decisive piece of information. Yuan Shao's grain reserves were stored at a place called Wuchao, and its defenses were weak. Cao Cao did not hesitate for a moment. He led an elite cavalry unit and rode for Wuchao that very night. The grain went up in flames. Within a day, an army of 100,000 was reduced to a starving mob. Yuan Shao did not lose because he ignored his advisor's words. He lost because he failed to recognize the value of the information his advisor carried. Cao Cao did not win through troop strength. He won because the moment the information arrived, he acted on it that same night without delay. This same structure repeats itself in offices today. The higher up the chain of command, the more filtered the voice from the front line becomes. The person at the top receives information last, and in its most polished form. Frontline staff already know the problem, but somewhere along the reporting chain, that information quietly disappears. Small business owners face the same trap. The signs that a market is collapsing always appear months before revenue actually drops. Yet few people learn to read those signs. Most only react once the number shows up on a sales report. By then, it is already too late. This channel will keep exploring stories like this one. If you do not want to miss them, please subscribe and leave a like. First action step. Build your own information network. Inside any organization, you need at least one person, regardless of rank, who will speak to you honestly. A report that moves up the chain has already been filtered once, shaped by someone else's interests. Second action step. Hear bad news first. Good news never arrives too late. Bad news, delayed by even one day, can erase your window to respond. The first question in any meeting should not be what went well. It should be where things are leaking right now. Third action step. Deliberately seek out opinions that contradict your own judgment. If you only hear voices that support the decision you already made, that is not verification. That is self-comfort. Fourth action step. When decisive information arrives, act on it that same day. Cao Cao won not simply because he obtained the information, but because he moved that very night. Had he waited even one day, the grain at Wu Chao would have remained untouched. Screen text only. This means that knowing the enemy in advance cannot come from consulting spirits, from comparing past events, or from calculating the movement of the heavens. It can only come from people, specifically from someone who knows the enemy's true situation. Translated into today's terms, it means this. No amount of data, no trend analysis, no instinct can replace real information. In the end, information always comes from people. To his final day, Yuan Shao likely never understood why he lost. He probably believed it came down to troop numbers. But the moment he dismissed one advisor's words, he had already lost the entire war. Information decides the outcome before strength ever does. And most people collapse without even realizing they were losing the information war. In the next episode, we cover part 2 of information warfare, where Cao Cao turns the tables and uses information to deceive his enemy instead. Knowing the enemy and deceiving the enemy. The next stage begins there.